Good morning, fifth grade. So I am happy to announce we are on the last section of chapter 9, and we are on the last section that we're actually going to do for the entire year. Yay! Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. I had enough room at the bottom to put my heading, so we're on chapter 9, section 8. This is all about statistical questions, and I've also put today's date off in the margin. Now, today's lesson doesn't have really any mathematical calculations involved. It's more about wording, looking at questions, how they're worded, are they statistical questions, and, kind of going from there. So, before we, hop into it, let's do a little bit of vocab. We're going to talk about what makes a statistical question. I can't spell. Statistical question. There we go. If you need more space, please hop to a new page, or if you're on a new page, continue working on that one. So, when you ask a statistical question, you can expect a variety of answers. Okay? Once you collect your variety of answers from a statistical question, you can then, analyze kind of how they're spread out, the distribution, like we did in the last section. So if everybody tends to answer one way versus another, you can compare your different answers. So you can analyze the distribution, and I'm going to flip to a new page here, and I'm just going to put continued. So you can analyze distribution and tendency of the answers. Now, something very important, and I'm going to put it down here next to this star. Questions with, I'm just going to write with as W with a slash next to it. Questions with only one possible answer are not, I'm going to put an equal sign with a slash through it, that means are not statistical questions. So if there's only one possible way you can answer, then it's not a statistical question. A statistical question has to have a variety of answers that it could get. So let's go ahead and try to identify some statistical questions. So I'm going to put a number 1. Next to it, identify statistical questions. And if you have not printed out the cutouts from this for this section, please pause the video and do that now. The first one, it actually looks like 3 separate ones. Looks something like this. I actually had started to cut them out separately, but then I decided I was going to keep them all together. So print this out just as it is, and I'm going to move down here, and I'm going to paste, whoops, I'm a little sideways there, let me fix that. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in, and we'll answer each one underneath. So we are going to determine if these are statistical questions or not. So I'm going to pause and glue in. Please do the same. Alrighty, so mine are glued in. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me do this, and I'm going to angle so I can see all of them, and I can have some space underneath to write. So I'm going to go ahead and put an A, just like that, and I'm going to talk about each one and if it is statistical or not statistical, and why that is true. So let's take a look at the first one. It says, how many states are in the United States? Well, no matter who I ask, I could ask, a student in my class, or a teacher from down the hall, and it doesn't matter who I ask because I'm going to get the same answer. So this is not statistical. Because no matter who I ask, I'm only going to get one answer. If I wanted to reword this to make it a statistical question, I might be able to say, you know, something like, how many states have you visited? Now that is a statistical question, because I could ask a student and they might say, oh, I've been to 10 states, or I could go to another person, they can say, oh, I've only been to 2. Do you see how it could depend on who you ask that you get a different answer? This question, no matter who I ask, I'm going to get just one answer, 50 states. At least that's the correct answer. Could answer incorrectly, but that wouldn't apply. All right, let's take a look at the next one. What is the favorite vegetable of 6th graders in your school? So depending on who I ask, they might say, oh, well, I like carrots, I like broccoli, I like Brussels sprouts. So it depends who you ask. You can get a variety of answers because there's a variety of students and they might each say, you know, a different vegetable. So this is statistical. That is a statistical question because there's a variety of things that anyone could say. All right, let's try the next one. Letter C. How many siblings do I have? Well, if I'm answering, there's only one possible answer that I could have. This is not statistical. Because for you, individually, there's only one answer. Now, if I wanted to reword this to make it statistical, I might say, if I'm asking the class, so asking a class, how many siblings do you have? Now I have a variety of answers. This person might say, oh, I have 3 siblings. Or the next person might say, I'm an only child, I don't have any siblings. Or this person might say, I have 2. Do you see how we can get like a variety of things if we ask it of more people? If I'm asking it of just myself, there's only one answer. All right, so that's how you do statistical questions. You have to see, is there more than one answer? If there's more than one answer, if there's a variety, it's statistical. If there's only one possible answer, it's not statistical. It might need to be reworded so that it can include a variety of answers, kind of like we did for these two. We reworded them, and now they are statistical questions. Now what we're going to take a look at is what we call bias. If there is a biased question, that means the way it's worded tries to influence your answer. And sometimes, sometimes when you see a biased question, you can easily see the opinion of whoever is asking you the question. So, opinion of, how do I want to word that? Opinion of, we'll just say person asking is shown. So you can easily see their opinion by the way they word their question. So this is where another cutout's going to come in. You should have 2 left. Okay, should look like this and this. We're going to start with the one that says Emilio and Leila. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to glue that in and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got Emilio and Leila here. Now, they're each asking a similar question. One of them has a biased question and one of them has a non-biased question. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a B next to the one that's biased, and I'm going to put NB next to the one that's not biased. So let's take a look at these. So for Emilio's question, it says, would you prefer to vacation in sunny Bermuda or rainy London? And Leila's question is, would you prefer to vacation in Bermuda or London? So looking at this, I would say that Leila's question is the one that's non-biased. And Emilio's question is the one that is biased. Why? Because you can kind of see Emilio's opinion through the way he words the question. He's kind of almost pushing you towards one option rather than the other. Would you rather vacation in sunny Bermuda or rainy London? It's almost making it seem like Bermuda is the better option. You really should choose this one. So if Emilio wanted to fix that to make it non-biased, he would probably want to get rid of these words. And then you basically just have Leila's question. Would you prefer to vacation in Bermuda or London? And then, you know, the way this is worded, it's not showing Leila's opinion. It's not trying to push someone towards one option or the other. It's just saying, well, which one would you like? So that is a biased versus non-biased question. Let's try another one. And again, you have another cutout. So I'm going to put B. And I'm going to glue that in. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to do kind of like I did over in part 1. I'm going to just write the letters underneath and kind of answer them as I go. So it says, determine if the survey question is biased and explain your answer. If it is biased, rewrite the question so that it is unbiased. Oh, I should have wrote UB instead of NB for unbiased, non-biased. Doesn't matter. Okay. It says Rolando, that's a neat name, Rolando wrote the survey question. Do you prefer delicious sweet red grapes or bitter strawberries? So I'm going to go ahead and say Rolando has a biased question. Because it seems like he prefers delicious sweet red grapes and does not like strawberries. But his opinion really shouldn't influence the question. If he wants the honest opinion of the people that are taking the survey, he can't have any bias. Because then that's going to make the results, you know, sway towards what he wants. And that's not how surveys should be done. They should just have the data, no matter what it is. It might be, you know, it might represent what you want it to or what you don't want it to, but it doesn't matter. You can't sway other people's decisions when they're taking a survey, because then that's going to mess up your results. So I would say delicious sweet red grapes or bitter strawberries. I would say let's get rid of those words, and then we could probably have a question that is non-biased. So if I got rid of them, do you prefer red grapes or strawberries? Yeah, that would work. Do you prefer red grapes or strawberries? Yep, now it's unbiased because I'm asking the honest opinion of someone and I'm not letting my opinion influence what they're going to choose. Now, just so you know, guys, all of the questions that we've seen here, these are all statistical. Even though there's only 2 options, there's still more than one. There's a variety of options, even though it's just 2. Red grapes, strawberries, Bermuda, London. Even though there's just 2, these are still statistical questions. Because I could add something to this, couldn't I? I could say, would you prefer to vacation in Bermuda or London or Florida? I can add a third option. I could add a fourth option if I wanted to. As long as there's more than one possible option, it's a statistical question. All right, let's try the next one. All right, looking at Eliana. Eliana wants to find out which internet service people in her area think is best. She asks, which is the fastest internet service in your area? So I would say that's unbiased. Unbiased. Or yeah, I guess you could say non-biased. It doesn't matter which one. Because she's not letting her opinion influence her question. She's just honestly asking which is the fastest. And then people can answer without feeling like, oh, I feel like I should answer this way because of the way they worded the question. Okay, so that is how you find biased and unbiased questions. You want to see if there's any words in there that kind of push you towards one answer versus another. So I'm going to have you guys pause here. I believe there is an IXL topic that goes along with this, so I'm going to have you hop over there to IXL.